Hello and welcome to another video on Science Mr. Robertson. It's about a word called decomposition, but first something from class about food chains. So of course in our classic food chain I usually talk about something called grass. A producer, it produces its own energy using the sunlight, and grass is often eaten by rabbits. Something that eats we call a consumer, and something that eats rabbits could be foxes. Like so, and of course it's also a consumer, it also eats. But what happens to the foxes? Because the grass will be eaten, the rabbits will be eaten, but the foxes, they'll die too. There is no animal on this planet that can live forever. What happens to the foxes when they die? What happens is a process called decomposition. Now, the DE here at the start, if you can see, there it is. That kind of means like to stop something or to slow something down. Like I could decrease my speed, I slow down, or I could devalue my money, make my money worth less. So that means something coming down, and composition means like putting something together. So I like to compose songs. I put music together to make a song. Decomposition, what that means is things breaking down. If composition is coming together, decomposition is them coming apart again. If you're a dead plant or a dead animal, decomposition will happen to you. Your body, when you die, will not remain as a body. Things will happen to it through time. What's going to happen is that there's a few things. There's of course lots of bacteria. Bacteria like to get in, like to slowly eat apart the different bits of plants and animals. There are also things like mushrooms. Mushrooms generally survive from dead organic matter, dead living matter. Plant leaves, for example, are fantastic things to break down. Also, of course, dead animals could be eaten. But one of the best decomposers are worms. So we have things like this here. And what they do is they are going to break down the original living thing, live, get energy from it, but they make all the parts smaller. So they take these things here, the energy they need, they take the good bits from it, and they leave all the rest in super small chunks in the soil. That soil är näringsrika. Jord är näringsrika efter vi har fått decomposition, nedbrytare. What we have here, if these three things are going to come together, and many more too, then make all the things soil, it's going to make it a nutrient-rich soil. Nutrient-rich. Lots and lots of energy, lots of good things for plants to need to help them photosynthesize, to help them grow again. In fact, humans, we can even make this ourselves. We make something called compost, which I believe for svenska is compost. Compost is the breaking down of things like old bits of fruit and vegetables, old bits of food, dead leaves from trees. Compost is all of those things that we can put together. And then, after a while, bacteria will get in. They will start to break down the plant leaves, start to break down the fruit we've not eaten, and we will get nutrient-rich compost. Remember though, that you need to put in things that are good for the soil. Don't put in things that are going to be poisonous. So that means no paint, no plastic, and no chemicals. Things like acids, things like alkalis, which we'll learn about later on. Things like batteries and things like that. Absolutely no, because they can have things that are poisonous in them. So we need to make sure the right things go in compost, but then nature will help break things down again. It will help make it better. So that what happens, if I get my food chain back here, what will happen is that when those foxes die, there will be decomposition that happens. When decomposition happens, we have all the good things going back to the soil, and those good things go back to the grass. We have a cycle. The things that make life work always go round in a cycle. The grass is eaten by the rabbits eaten by the foxes. When the foxes sadly die, they will find that their bodies are broken down into smaller pieces. Some of those pieces will be super good for the soil. It becomes nutrient rich, and then the grass takes it up again and it goes back around the cycle. That is why decomposition is so important. Thank you guys. Take care.